Let's start off by talking about what Mystic Vale is. Mystic Vale is a card crafting game by AEG and designer John D. Clare. A card crafting game is not dissimilar to a deck building game, but has a few differences. The game supports 2 to 4 players, and each player has 20 cards. Some of the cards have artwork on them with a lot of blank space, and some are completely blank. Instead of purchasing new cards to add to their deck, like in a traditional deck builder, players keep the same cards, but they become much more powerful as the game progresses. Like a deck builder though, when a player can no longer draw cards from their depleted deck, their discard pile is shuffled to form a new deck. As players progress through the game, the blank spaces on their cards will be filled in with mostly clear advancement inserts that enhance the cards. They're separated by their cost and power into levels 1, 2, and 3, with 3 generally being the most powerful. The advancements are laid out in the middle of the play area and are available to purchase on a player's turn. There's a lot of great combinations that can be built with these advancements, but since players are limited by the amount of mana they can produce in a turn, and by what advancements are currently available, strategies have to change on the fly. This adds even more replayability to an already highly replayable game due to the sheer number of advancements available. There's 2 forms of currency in the game: mana and spirit symbols. Mana is used to purchase advancement to make the player's cards stronger as they cycle, and spirit symbols are used to purchase Vale cards. Vale cards are permanents that can add abilities, purchasing power, or just victory points at the end of the game. These cards are not added to the deck, but are instead placed to the side where they're always visible. On a player's turn, a single card is turned over to first form an on-deck card, on top of the deck. If a player can safely proceed, and more on that in a moment, then the on-deck card is moved to the player's hand and a new on-deck card replaces it. This process is repeated until the player has a final hand, which will determine the action the players will take on the next turn. That's right, this prepping of the player's next hand takes place at the end of the turn. This minimizes downtime between players as the next player has already taken their turn while the last player is prepping. So how does a player know how many cards they'll be able to draw? Well, simple. There's a symbol called decay, which can be found printed directly on some of the player's cards. They can also be found on some advancement cards that can be purchased. A player is safe as long as no more than 3 decay symbols are showing between their hand and on-deck cards. A 4th decay symbol will result in the player spoiling and essentially losing their next turn. A player can draw 3 decay symbols pretty quickly sometimes, and it is tempting to push your luck to gain more purchasing power. The more cards you get into your hand, the more purchasing power you have for your next turn. This push your luck aspect of the game sounds easy to avoid, but it's also easy to get greedy and push your luck too far. Now this is one of the very best features of Mystic Vale. There are victory points set out for the number of players in the game at the beginning of the game, and once these are claimed, the game is almost finished. Every player gets the same number of turns, so the current round is finished and spare victory point tokens are used to accommodate the remaining players. Once the game is over, players are going to total up victory points from their advancements, from their Vale cards, and from their victory points tokens that they've acquired through the game. The player with the most victory points wins. So, how does Mystic Vale measure up? Well, in short, it is a wonderful, wonderful game. If you're a fan of card games, particular deck builders, then Mystic Vale is going to be right up your alley. The artwork is fantastic. The replayability is just off the charts. The game is just a delight to play. I was worried about setup being really difficult due to all the different levels of advancements and them being clear. I thought it was going to be a pain, but it's not. The insert is wonderful. The game is just a treat. It really is. It's one of the most original games to come out in years. And if you're a fan of card games, you're just going to go nuts for it. It's just such a brilliant idea, and it was executed beautifully. Go out and buy Mystic Vale. Stop watching this video, just go get one. If you already own Mystic Vale, then go buy another copy just so we're guaranteed some expansions. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and visit us at www.flamingdicereviews.com and facebook.com/flamingdicereviews. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.